Here we are at day 29, finishing up our last Excel project, which is a basic financial table with a few extra things in it. Reference values in an assumptions table. Otherwise, it's very similar to our previous budget table because we're easing you into the concepts of Excel. There's lots more you can learn. So if you're looking at showing Excel skills at a job, practice with Excel, look at other examples. This is just giving you a taste of it. Want to practice this if formula because it's a little bit confusing. Remember, the if formula looks like this. It always has three things inside the parentheses. We call those parameters. And it always starts with the equal if. And one way to think of it is that the equal if formula is returning a value to be put in that cell where you have the if formula. And think of it as the value in the cell will be this value, the v true, value if true, if this condition that's here comes out to be true. So this is something that needs to turn true, be true or false, like a comparison typically. And then v false otherwise. Most of the time in the functions we've done, it's a 0. You get this if that comes out to be true, otherwise it'd put a 0 there. And that's often not stated even in a statement like this, that I get a bonus of what's in A1 when the sales, which are in B1, exceed my revenue for bonus in C1. And implicit there is, well, otherwise I get nothing. So what would this if formula look like? I'm going to give this a try. I have my values A1, B1, and C1. One way to look at it here is first, what's the condition?
If A1 is greater than, when B1 is greater than, exceeds C1.
Very good, yeah. B1 exceeds the revenue. So that's the condition, B1 greater than C1. And that's something when you're getting a word problem like this, I'd recommend the first thing you look for is what condition is being described. Once you have that, then the value of true, well, is my bonus, which is in A1. And even though it doesn't say it, the value of false is 0. Therefore, my if formula should look like, anyone want to help me?
If equals B1 greater than C1.
Yeah, B1 greater than C1,
Comma,
don't forget the comma.
A1,
Then I get the bonus, which is in A1.
and then comma 0.
Otherwise, I get 0. Okay, we'll be doing something like that in our Excel project. So let's go ahead and bring up our Excel project. The way, the place I ended was with, where is it? Where's my book? Here it is. Was starting with the month of April, and we're going to copy it over. So I'm going to bring up my Excel. Go to my recent file. There it is right here, EX3. And I started with April, tilted over. Remember how we did the rotate? Let's review that. That's a little tricky. Remember, under rotating text, it's right there. If there's any other thing that you don't find up here in the formatting up here, remember what you can do. You can always go to the settings, dialogues. It has number, alignment, font, border, fill, protection, all sorts of things. If I want to password protect a particular cell, I can turn on protection, and then it reminds me it doesn't take effect unless I apply a password to the whole thing. Here in alignment, if I had a different angle than 45 degrees, I could adjust it right here to a specific number of degrees. It chooses on the icon the most common, which is 45. But if you had a specific angle, remember that dialog is your friend. Back to the Home tab. This dialog right here takes you to that. And when we do the fill handle, the reason we rotate it first before fill handling over is when you fill handle, it not only will increment the month if it's a known series, it will also copy the formatting. Anytime you have formatting applied, like I have a number 12 here, I make the font red. Oh, I have to select it. I make the font red. Now, whenever I make the font red, there we go. Now, whenever I fill handle that number, it will keep the red formatting. So fill handling also copies formatting. I'm going to Control Z that and get back to my normal ones. Well, now we're going to continue our table. We will be putting values in our revenue. So let's take a look at what our headers are in our table. We've scroll handled over the months. And they talk about the fill handling sequences it knows about. If I have times or names with a number following, it will increment those numbers. This is handy if you use Excel a lot. Otherwise, don't worry about having to remember all of this. You'll get used to this if you use Excel quite a bit in your work. Let's go to the part where we now enter an indent row title. So here's the row titles we're going to be putting in there. Revenue, cost of goods sold, where we're going to be indenting. What we can do is just put in the text and then come back and indent it. So it's going to be revenue, cost of goods sold, gross margin. Come back to here. Revenue, cost of goods sold, and margin. Gross margin, sorry, gross margin. I'm going to enlarge that column to get room for all these headings. They like to put in row 7 a blank cell, a blank line. I'll do that. And now we have expenses, bonus commission. And kiosk rental marketing. And equipment repair and maintenance. A long one. Double clicking the edge of my cell, the column border, just that total expenses, and then a blank line and operating income. And operating income. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, come back here now and indent particular cells. If I look back at the model here, I want that one on row 5 indented and all of those. I'm going to indent them all at once rather than one by one. Select that one, Control select through those, and the indenting guy is right there. Increase indent. Now I have a nice looking headings, row headings, and operating income. I think they also are going to be putting that in bold. First of all, they're going to add the headings into our assumptions table down below. We're going to copy these values of the things we spend money on into a little table down below called what if assumptions. And let's see, it does have a blank line between operating income. Here is a table we're going to build called what if assumptions. These are values we're going to reference as we do our calculations in our financial projections. The thing is, we want these same values we just typed to be in our what if assumptions, so I'm just going to do a Control C and a Control V down here rather than retyping all of those. Now I have what if assumptions, there's going to be additional what if assumptions that I'm going to be inserting into this table. And they go over some standard keyboard shortcuts. Now let's see if there's any keyboard shortcuts that I use a lot here. I'm going to look at this table. Keyboard shortcuts that I use a lot. Oh yeah, the Control P or Control V. Multiple ways of copying and pasting. I don't remember all of these shortcuts. The thing to remember when you're doing pasting is go to a cell and you want to paste, you can right click and you have all your paste options here. I'd say don't worry about remembering all those shortcut keys. Just remember when you paste, you can right click, and the one paste that's really helpful to me is the part about pasting just the value. The standard paste remembers the format that you copied from. And that's a real pain when you're copying and pasting from a web page or from another table that has all sorts of crazy colors. Just pasting the values would save you from messing up your formatting. So the right-click paste special lets you choose what kind of pasting to do. So I wouldn't worry about remembering all those shortcuts. Remember the right-click paste special. Okay, so we've copied those cells. Now we're going to be inserting some extra columns here in sales revenue for bonus. That's the sales we have to have in order to receive our bonus. We're inserting that right below the bonus value. So back to our table. Since it's going to go below the bonus cell, or the bonus row, we click on row 20, the one below it, and insert. That inserts it. It always inserts a row above the one where you're going to do the insert. So this is revenue, sales revenue for bonus. Sales revenue for bonus. This is going to be used in an if formula up above to determine whether or not we receive our bonus. We're also going to have a margin that's going to determine our entire operating income, our operating income. So we're adding another one at the very top below the title, what if assumptions. Right click on row 19 and do another insert, and we're putting in here margin. And it's kind of annoying since it was below one that was not indented. It doesn't get indented, so I'm going to indent margin. And there we have margin. If I want to delete rows, we can worry about that. So we've saved it. Let's go ahead and make sure it's saved. I think we should have it saved by now because we saved last time. I'm going to do a Control S because I've done a lot of work since. And now I think we can get going on putting in our numbers. And depending on how we type in numbers, it explains that it will treat it in a different way. When I type in a %, it'll put in certain values. Let's go ahead and put in our values in our assumptions table given to us right there. I'll enlarge a little bit more here. And go over to Excel, and my margin is 77.5%, which mathematically will become 0.775. Whenever I put a % in there, it'll treat it as dividing it by whatever numbers they're dividing by 100. 5,000 is my bonus. 60,000 is the sales needed for bonus. Commission now is 30%. Kiosk rental 10%. Marketing 5%. That means the % of money we're spending on what we have available will be spent on these things. So these are our financial projection assumptions. Now, do the percentages add up to 100? Well, let's see, 40, 45, 49. So we're spending 51% on other things that are not listed here. Or maybe we're saving that money. We're saving 51%. But these numbers we're going to be referred to in all of our formulas. And the thing to remember is, as we do our formulas, we only have to worry about April's calculations. We're going to copy over to all the other months. But before we enter our calculations, we need to put in our revenue, and I guess they're more easily read up there. 45,000, 52,000. Up here for each month, we're putting in our revenue. 45,000 for April. 52,000 for May. These are numbers that we just have to put in. They're reading it from a database. 67.5 for June. 90,000 for July, making big money in July. August, it's down a little bit, 77.5. And in September, 63,750. We are going to let Excel do the total for us. We're not going to type that in. Oh yeah, we can put the name total at the top, right? We will put the name total at the top. Yeah, because I rotated this row. Oh, and it follows the formatting of the previous one. Okay, now back to April. They give us the formulas, but they're easy enough to derive. But the important thing is, as we put in our formulas, that we reference the cells below in absolute referencing. Whenever we reference any number here, we have to use absolute referencing. So cost of goods sold is a little formula having to do with margin. I believe it's 1 minus margin. Oh, first of all, they put today's date way over there in, looks like H2. Let's go to H2 and put today's date. The shortcut key control semicolon would just copy today's date, but that would mean whenever I use this sheet, it would always stay at the day I created this. We don't want that. We want it to show whatever date they have when they open this up. So instead of today's date with control semicolon, we're going to make that an equal formula to equal that now function. Equal now with empty parentheses. That meant make sure that whenever they open this, it will show the date when they open it. Now, of course, when I print it out, that's going to be there forever. So the now function we use in obeying scripture of Psalm 119, verse 12, numbering our days. And sorry about that. Here we go. We put the formula or the format of that date in a specific format here by selecting the cell and then going over here onto the dialog, formatting the cells as a date, but in a specific date style down here. I don't think it's the leading zero. It is the single-digit month and the 2-digit year. So just a slight difference in what it already did. Instead of a 4-digit year by default, it's a 2-digit year. Remember how that's done? The cell selected, the dialog, I can decide how to format that date. Now I think we're ready to go on and actually do the formulas. And they explain absolute versus relative referencing. I think I've explained it enough so far. I think you can get it. But we'll do it by actually practicing hands-on here. Why is it suddenly very slow? They show you little examples of absolute versus relative referencing. Here we go. Here's all the formulas we need. The cost of goods sold is B4 times 1 minus margin. All right, so let's put in that formula for cost of goods sold for April is equal to revenue, or what's in B4, times, now in parentheses, 1 minus, and it's going to be 1 minus margin down below, so I go down to margin and click, but before I let go, I hit F4, and it puts stickies around it. I could always just type in the stickies. If I forget, that F4 will do it for me. But whenever I'm on a reference to a cell, if I type the F4 key, it will toggle through the various combinations of the stickies. And remember about this absolute referencing. I don't need to worry about absolute referencing unless I'm planning to copy this formula somewhere else. If I'm going to retype the formula every time, every month, spending a lot of time, then I won't need the stickies. So having the stickies saves you from having to retype the formula for every month. So those little dollar signs means the B will always be referencing column B as I copy the formula to the next months. So in this particular spreadsheet, whenever I reference something down here in the assumptions table, make sure you turn on the stickies, the dollar signs, to make it absolute reference. All right, so the formula for the bonus, or sorry, the gross margin is what my revenue minus my cost of goods. So equal that one minus that one. No stickies needed because I will copy over to the next month. Now the bonus, we're going to jump right in. Do they jump right into the bonus? We're going to use the if formula. And look at that. They're so nice to us. They just give us the if formula for the bonus. I'm going to redo it here just to make sure. I'm going to derive it here. The bonus is equal to if. Now what we compare to is my sales has to be greater than or equal to that number. So that number here, the revenue, has to be greater than or equal to, so greater equal. And then when I reference my sales revenue for bonus, I hit F4 because I'm going to be copying this formula, and that's the reference. And if it does exceed the sales for bonus, comma, I get my bonus, which is right here, and that has to have a stickies around it as well, F4. Otherwise, I don't get my bonus, so I do a comma 0. Now, compared to what they gave us in the book here, they don't show the stickies around it. So they make it a little harder here. This table doesn't show stickies. Question? Well, let's see what it says. Equals if B4 is greater than or equal to B21, comma, then you need another comma 0.
Oh, where after
the, yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, wait.
Good job. Yep.
Oh.
Because for that month we didn't make enough sales, so we don't get a bonus for April. Now when I hit enter, I will see the result of the formula, and I get 0. Now these other ones, it's basically a multiplying what's in B4 times the percentage in my assumptions table. So the rest of these are fairly simple. Revenue times the percent I'm going to spend. So and it's always what's in B4. So commission is equal to B4. I'm just going to type B4 rather than going up there, and then times what's in sale, or basically commission percent. I'm just going to type B22 and hit F4, put stickies around it. Go down one little bit here. Kiosk rentals is equal to my income, B4, times my kiosk rental percent, which is down there in B23, and hit F4. F4 puts the stickies around it.
And what was kiosk rental?
It's just B4 times the percent down below. All these 4 are always just equal to B4 times the percent related to it down in that table. So marketing is B4 times the marketing percent. Equipment repair is B4 times the equipment repair percent. Just remember, always put the dollar signs around those because I'm planning to copy this formula to the next months. It's always B4 times the percent down in the percent table. Now that I have them here, I'm going to do the control tick mark so you can see all my formulas. So that's what your formulas should be. If you do the control tick mark, you can see your formulas and verify whenever I'm referencing anything down here past row 19, I'm making sure I put stickies on them. Okay, you ready to go on? All right, so I'm going to do a control tick mark again. And total expenses is calculated for each month, so I don't want any stickies. And it's basically my margin, my total expenses is just the sum of all my expenses. So I'm going to use the shortcut summation up here. And look at that, it's adding up B9 to B13. Do I need stickies there?
No.
No, because I'm going to change the expenses will be adding up the next month, the next row. Very good. And operating income, they give us the formula, is B6 minus B14. So it's my gross margin minus my total expenses. Close to the marriage saving formula, but I'm not going to call it that. It's equal my gross margin. That means how much money I have left after I've paid for the goods I'm selling, the overhead. Subtract my expenses, which is the B14 totaled. And there's my income I have left over. That's the 51% of gross margin. That's what I have left over to pay my workers, to pay the rent. And notice we're not showing rental here. We are keeping track of kiosk rental, but we have to rent other things. And we have to pay people. Now that we have this done, we can select all those cells all the way down to operating income. And because we have the stickies in the right place, and I can pull the fill handle. I'm not confused why my fill handles aren't showing up. I can tell it's there because I see the X show up. Now I can fill handle over, and I have every month figured out. And notice the bonus changes when my sales go up in the summer. It automatically pops up my bonus. So we've done all the work simply in the April month, putting the stickies in the right place, making it so much easier to copy to the other months. Now, one mistake some students do is they accidentally fill handle over revenue, and that messes you up. We don't want to fill handle over revenue because that's something we typed in. Yeah, so you want to fill handle just those cells and then grab over. Now the total. Remember how we can do the shortcut? If I want total for all these rows, I can just drag through them all and hit summation. It automatically calculates the sum for each row. I can do the same thing here. Yeah, or just drag through them. Yeah, and you could even do the control to do multiple. And then summation automatically gives you the sum of all my rows. Now, isn't that slick? So we've got our table filled up pretty quickly. Remember, the only place we had to do the work was the beginning numbers right there, the first month with the proper stickies, and all this was work done by Excel. Let the Excel do the calculations. Very powerful program, especially in the financials. Now the rest of this is formatting things nicely. I'm going to do a Control S since I've done a lot of things up till now. And then we'll come back here and let's make sure I haven't missed anything. Checking my formulas. Got all our formulas in. So they do it in the book. They go page by page with lots of pretty pictures showing you what they're doing. There's an explanation of the if formula. And then we've got our remaining formulas. They finally do the copy. And then we're going to be formatting them to look pretty. The rest of this is prettying up our table, and this computer just poor slow. Here we go. We're getting close to the formatting. We're going to be putting in little charts here. I think they do the charts later. Oh, no, they do the charts first. We're going to add these things called Sparkline charts. There's cute little charts we can do over on the right side. And I'm not sure how useful they are. They are more eye candy to me. We'll put a little mini chart here. The name of that cell there is chart. Right here, we're going to put a Sparklines chart. It's over here on, I believe, is it the insert? Right here, there's these little cute little charts. There's line sparklines, column sparklines, a win-loss if you're doing a kind of a pass-fail or a comparison. And let's see what chart they want over here. We're going to do a Sparkline chart. Okay, so we'll come up to here, select where we're going to put the chart, come over here and click the line. And what it wants here in this little dialog that pops up, it wants to know where are we getting the data for the Sparkline. Well, we're going to do the Sparkline of our revenue coming in. It's going to be B4 to G4. So I can just type in there the data range B4 colon G4. Or you could drag through it. Yep.
Wait, you want to go to page? Oh, wait, do you know what?
No, we don't want the total in this in the chart. We're only doing B4 to G4. So B4 colon G4. Once I click OK, I'll see a cute little chart pop up there. I don't see it being very useful. It's more of a, hey, look, our numbers got higher in the middle somewhere there. I have to look at the numbers to actually know what they are. But now I want that same chart on the other lines, I believe. I think they copied that down to the other lines. Yeah, and they just used the fill handle. So there they're getting their chart. And we can format the color of that cute little chart. In the design part over here, I can decide what color. I'll let you pick a color of your little Sparkline chart. Lots of colors available. And then fill handle down. I could also do a Control-C copy and paste down there. And I have multiple cute little Sparkline charts. Now they all look exactly the same. That's why I don't find them terribly useful. Except for the bonus one. We see where the bonus jumps up. And I picked a bad color for the projector. I'm going to select through these and adjust my style here. That's a bad color on the projector. Let's pick something a little darker. So remember, that came through the Insert tab Sparklines. And you can do column charts too. And if you enlarge this cell, they'll get larger. They're cute little eye candy. I don't see them terribly useful. But it's good to know how to do that if your boss says, hey, my friend did Sparkline charts and I want some too. You can say, oh yeah, remember that great college we went to? They showed us that. So there's our those Sparkline charts. Now, oh man, they changed them into column charts. They decided after putting them there, they go back to them and say, wait a minute, I wanted those to be column charts instead. I can come back here and say, oh, made a mistake. Want them to be column charts. Just click on that, turns them into column charts. So once I have it there, I can choose what type it is. Even though I started with a line chart, I can come back later and say, wait a minute, oh, column charts, oh, that's much more useful to me. Little boxes now to confuse people looking at my charts. Look how quickly this can make you look so smart, and all you did was put in those Sparkline charts. And that's the idea. You want people to think you're smart. And they may actually be right because of all the hard work you've done. Now we're going to do the formatting to make it look nice and pretty. Oh, we got a few more minutes. And welcome. We've got some doers coming here, huh?
Yeah. And I need them to be in the front rows. So
the very front row?
Seats in the front rows.
Welcome. Come sit in the front row. We're finishing up our wonderful Excel class. Boy, lots of doers today.
These doers are running start.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's running start.
Ah.
Running start? Yeah.
Are they going to be taking a test?
No.
They're just here to visit, huh? Okay.
No, for orientation.
Okay.
I didn't know they were going to be quite this big. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. So are they going to do something after we're done?
What time did your class end?
In about 5 minutes.
Okay.
We can end early. I no problem.
Go ahead and put her after we have orientation.
Okay.
So they can watch and learn.
Well, welcome all you Running Start people. You can hang out here for a while, watch the show. You can log in with user student, password student, and check your Facebook messages for all you want. You're welcome to do that. Have some fun. If you play some games on there, some of them have left some games playing. You're welcome to just hang out while we finish up our little Excel project here. Okay, so what we got so far here, we have our lovely table. But we wanted to make it pretty like this, and I'll bet you already know how to do this. Let's go ahead and just from looking here, looks like we're making our left column bold. We're putting these in heading 1 style, putting this in total style. Let's just go from what we see there. I bet you can do this. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit for you. So I'm going to let you know what? I'm going to give you some freedom. As long as you apply a color, you can choose a color other than green. I'm going to do just like the book colors. But remember, whenever you choose a dark color, we want to make our font white. And I think I can do this in a quick way. I'm just going to, first of all, select this. Do they do a, no, it doesn't look like they do a merge and center on that. They just turn that whole set of cells green, because we don't want to wipe out the date cell. They do enlarge it, and let's see if I enlarge this font size by Control-Shift greater than. Oh, it doesn't work. I have to choose my font size. You know what? I think I'm just going to choose a cell style of title, and it automatically enlarges my cell. Control-B to make it bold. Sales projection, I'll leave it at the small font. Selecting all of those all the way out to the edge of my chart, and I'm going to apply. I can apply a highlight here, or I can go to a cell style and choose any of these styles that are already built in. So I can go down here to this one. Problem is it shrinks my font back down. So maybe I'll do a fill manually, and then font color manually. And there I have, oh, I think I'm going to make that fill a little darker.
What's the shortcut to increasing your font size?
There is no keyboard shortcut.
Oh,
The Control-Shift greater than doesn't work in Excel. It makes me sad because I kind of like that one.
Where's the, what do you do again for increasing size?
Oh, you just select the cell and then up here.
Oh, right, yeah. Maybe do it that way.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have taken that shortcut away. Control-B to make those bold. Oh, it looks like they make that a blue color. I'll let you select whatever color for your, not the background, but the fonts. I'm going to make it. And then down this column here, we're going to make these all bold. And let's go ahead and put a border above that. Let's see if I can do this heading 1 style. Let's see if heading 1 style, does it take my rotation away? Oh, good. It doesn't take away the rotation. Heading 1 style. Total style in this row. But we don't go to the chart. I think they stop the lines at the chart. So total style gross margin.
And under?
Yeah.
Okay. Or title.
No, yeah. Revenue is just plain style. This is in title style. The month names are title style. Or not title style, heading 1 style.
Heading 1, okay.
And total expenses are in total style again. So I go down to total expenses, drag through, and cell style total. And now we do some coloring of that operating income. Apply a fill, apply a font. And now this is all, it's starting to look pretty good, except my numbers need to be either in accounting format or comma format. Whenever you do financial tables, use accounting or comma format. And it looks like they want accounting on the top row of each table and then your total rows. So I'm going to select, control select, control select, control select, And one more control select. So I let my computer catch up to me here. Come on, there we go. And another control select. And put those in accounting style. The rest of the numbers will be in regular comma style. So the comma for comma style, $sign for accounting style, and now it's starting to look like a professional looking table. Like my numbers are lining up. Table's looking pretty good. We want to highlight the assumptions table by putting that with a dark green border around it and white font. So I'm going to fill that with the dark green, change my font to white, and we will stop there. Save this. We're not done yet, so don't submit it because we've got a little more work to do. We're going to do the what if analysis next time, which means we will change some assumptions and see what happens to our final operating income, which I forgot to put a summation there. Have a wonderful day. Oh, I better stop the recording.